Okay, Chelsea.
Yeah.
Because you are somewhat in the travel industry in your real life. Somewhat. I think we've mentioned that in the podcast before. I'm not doxing you in any way.
It's come up briefly.
Yeah. I thought I would pull this article for you, and it does have to do with an episode we did in season 1 a long time ago. It's from a website called The Conversation, written on July 21st, 2026. Article title, I Can't Work in the Farce of Climate Change Cruise Tourism Anymore. Why Antarctic Guides Quit Their Dream Jobs. You'd see massive glaciers calving and you'd want to cry. But all the guests would be cheering, and you'd be like, can you not put 2 and 2 together? These are the words of former Antarctic tour guide we interviewed. For anyone interested in nature, few jobs sound more enviable. You spend months among penguins, orcas, and glaciers, helping visitors experience one of the world's most extraordinary and unspoiled places. But for some guides, like those we quote in this article, that privilege slowly became impossible to reconcile with their beliefs. Watching climate change unfold while helping thousands more visitors reach the continent eventually led them to leave the jobs they'd once dreamed of. Antarctic tourism is growing fast, with over 120,000 visits in 2025-26, and up to 450,000 expected each summer within a decade. Our new study reveals how Antarctic tour guides grapple with the dilemma at the heart of their work, bringing more and more people to an ecologically vulnerable area and helping cause some of the greatest CO2 emissions of any form of tourism. Quote, I was down there on the hottest day ever recorded in 2020, hiking up a glacier in my t-shirt, driving boats without gloves. It was really sad. The impact of climate change absolutely hit you in the face. We interviewed 25 former Antarctic guides who decided to quit their job. All quotes are anonymized. And these guides couldn't align their morals with their effects of tourism they were witnessing day after day. Quote, very often for long periods of time, the penguins had maybe a few hours break during the night. Otherwise, there were hundreds of people walking through the colonies non-stop. End quote. While tour operators often argued that visiting Antarctica can heighten tourists' awareness of environmental issues, former guides were struck by guests' ignorance of human impact. None of the guides quit overnight. Their decision emerged through years of reflection, uncertainty, and moral conflict. Quote, we are always in conflict in our minds with 2 parts. The excitement to go to Antarctica to work in remote places we like and being complicit in tourism industry development. End quote. Quote, I can't work in the farce of climate change cruise tourism anymore. It's just how can I go there? Tell people about climate change and not do anything about it. End quote. The former tour guides show meaningful change is often painful and gradual process rather than a single dramatic moment. For many years of acting against their values affected their well-being. Quote, I think what it comes down to for me is, if I think about being on my deathbed and trying to look my kids in the eyes and saying I tried, I don't know if I could have done that if I kept doing what I was doing. End quote. The story of guides who left one of the world's most extraordinary tourism jobs powerfully illustrates how abandoning unsustainable lifestyles can come with real personal costs. Quote, to this day, Antarctica stays in the forefront of my head as the most incredibly raw environment that deserves all the care and protection, and I just think tourism and us being there was doing the opposite of that completely. End quote. Many of the research participants still felt deeply connected to Antarctica, and they sometimes regret leaving. Mixed feelings and ambiguity are an inherent part of decisions we take out of concern and care for others, including remote environments. Quote, do I wish I was getting on a flight and heading to the floe edge to take people out on the ice? Yes. There's a big part of me that wishes I was doing that right now, and I also know that I would feel like shit after doing it, end quote. In the case of people we interviewed, caring about Antarctica meant walking away from the Antarctic tourism. The interview suggested that distance doesn't necessarily weaken responsibility. For these former tour guides, caring for Antarctica ultimately meant leaving it, and many felt better after they quit. Sometimes the best way to protect a place you love is to leave it alone. Quote, I was working very much against what I knew wasn't right, and I think that was coming out in my body as well. And then, when I made that decision to walk away, I just felt so much better, and it was like I could breathe again, end quote. If you ever question whether your work aligns with your values, these former Antarctic tour guides offer a thoughtful perspective on balancing career well-being and environmental responsibility. Their stories may also inspire a deeper appreciation for protecting Antarctica by leaving it untouched. And that's the end of the article.
I have thoughts about it, kind of. I mean, is this a case of ignorance is bliss and they just go, I can't watch this anymore? I feel better. It's still gonna happen, and good for them with their morals leaving. Unfortunately, they're gonna be replaced.
Yeah, by people who aren't as necessarily conscious of the issue too.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, tourism, we could do the best coverage of tourism. Tourists are almost the worst. I mean, they're going to a place for a brief amount of time, and are they caring about the impact that they have on the environment? Most likely no. They want to go and they want to see it and they want to check it off their bucket list, and they don't care what kind of impact that has because it's adding to the experience of their life, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people are caring about the impact that they're having on a destination they're going to. I mean, the cruise industry is one of the worst industries out there for the planet, and they're just giant corporations that don't care. And I love that these people quit. Like, that's amazing that they had strong enough morals to not be able to continue to do it. But guess what? There are people who don't, and they'll go do it. And the cruise line will pay them to do it because who's monitoring this? The tourism industry is something you don't even have to make something. You just are transporting people there and making money off these people that, you think you're making a difference. Perhaps they're an ecological tour company, but in the end, just like the person who quit, you're still watching the environment collapse around you because tourists are
and it doesn't seem
there.
like the people who are actually witnessing it care at all.
Yeah, and as a tourist, you want to see the penguins, but, and yes, I mean, I would prefer to see a penguin there, but then in a zoo, but you don't think of it this way necessarily, that the penguins just want to be left the fuck alone.
Yeah.
They don't want to be surrounded by people. Tourism's the worst, and you just look at all these places in Europe that are just inundated with tourists, and they get pissed off at the tourists. They come and they leave garbage, and they act like people. Do you remember that article about the Chinese government telling people not to pee in sinks and stuff when they travel? That's tourism. You just get people, that's not their home. They're not going to treat it like their home, and they probably treat their home like shit too.
Yeah, and it always makes me so sad that man, we kind of were able to get to Antarctica at a point in time where we weren't in this late stage capitalist situation we are now, where they actually said okay, let's just leave Antarctica alone. Maybe we do a bit of science there, but we leave it alone.
We're human.
That is just getting eroded every day, basically.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad. It's
surprisingly
really
enough, Trump hasn't tried to claim it.
Yeah, don't say that out loud. He'll hear
I don't understand how.
He'll hear you.
Yeah.
Anyhow, this makes me angry, so...
Yeah, you guys got 48 hours. Make sure Trump doesn't find out about this place.
Okay, bye.
Bye.